Join us now with his reaction is Michael Faulkender. He served as Assistant Treasury Secretary for Economic Policy in the first Trump administration. He's now Chief Economist with the America First Policy Institute and a finance professor at the University of Maryland's Smith School of Business. Good morning to you. Curious, just before we get into it, what your reaction was, especially given what's been described now in some reports as a knife fight over the last week between so many different names. Obviously, Howard Lutnick, who's now become the Commerce Secretary, but Mark Rowan flying in from China last week to meet with the president, Kevin Warsh, who's been on that short list before. What do you think of this pick?
I'm elated with the pick. I think it was exactly the right person for President-elect Trump to have selected at this time. Scott's experience with markets, his guidance that he's offered to President-elect Trump during the last year on economic policy, I really think he is the right person to implement the president's agenda. When you consider the tax negotiations, the interactions with foreign nations over retaining our status as the world's reserve currency, and negotiating with China over the current trade relationship, I think all of those things, Scott's experience, serve him very well. In addition to that, of course, managing $36 trillion of debt, his experience in bond markets are going to serve him well as he looks to continue to refinance and extend that debt.
Having been someone who's worked inside this administration, or at least the previous version of it, how is it going to work with Howard Lutnick on one end running Commerce, which is going to have a huge portfolio, especially as it relates to tariffs, I imagine, and Scott Bessent in the Treasury, if in fact they are at odds, at least on some issues, specifically, it sounds like even around tariffs?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is the Commerce Department and the U.S. Trade Representative who lead the efforts on implementation of tariffs. But, of course, Scott has demonstrated that he is fully supportive of the president's use of tariffs, both as a revenue-generating device but also as a negotiating piece. And so I think you're going to see Scott Bessent support the president when he decides to use tariffs as an opportunity for us to improve our trading relationship, not only with China, but with a number of trading partners around the world. At the end of the day, it's going to come in front of the president, and Scott is going to be fully on board with what the president chooses to implement.
Michael, Scott has clearly been a brilliant investor. He has not managed nearly as large a team, though, over the many years that he's been in the business. And I'm curious, in terms of the people he surrounds himself with, the deputies and the like, what kind of person you would want, given that he is going to oversee, I think, something like 300,000 people.
Yeah, there's about 100,000 people at Treasury, most of them over in the IRS. But Scott has been in large organizations, and I have every faith that he is going to surround himself, and that the president-elect's office and the transition team is going to help him identify people who are going to complement his skill sets. The Treasury Secretary is a very important person on an external basis, negotiating with not only markets here in the United States, but with foreign finance ministers. And he is going to surround himself with a highly competent management team who has experience managing the Treasury Department. There are a number of people who served in the previous Trump administration who have experience working with the Treasury team, who understand how that building operates, and are going to be in a position to advise him on how to harness the talent at the Treasury Department, both among the political staff and the career staff, to achieve the president-elect's mission.